Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, John Vias, and Bill Hayes, Anthony Matos with sports, Peter Brown with the weather, and Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. The Elementary School Building Committee voted Tuesday night to eliminate the option to build a 640-student school on the Fox Hill site, effectively guaranteeing the committee will move forward with the smaller 325-student option. It's the most popular option among community members and the option most likely to earn the support of town meeting and voters when the time comes to finance the project. Melissa Masato, who chairs the committee, said she has concerns about the smaller school but is committed to making it the best possible option.
The consolidated school was an option identified long before we began this project as having the potential to address our aging facilities and save on the cost of doing so. I think our OPM and designer have done a good job of planning for this, and I was very impressed by the concept and the design. But in the end, we have to build a school for this town, and our taxpayers will have to fund it. The feedback we have heard thus far has been strongly in favor of a smaller neighborhood school. I want to thank the families who have been engaged thus far and ask that you maintain that engagement. You will be called upon for input and to support the funding the project through town meeting and a general vote for a debt exclusion next year. I am disappointed that option 3 does not address the infrastructure needs of Pine Glen, and I'm concerned about the uncertainty that remains and how we address those needs. I'm also concerned about the cost to taxpayers and the capacity constraints imposed by MSBA in exchange for their funding. However, I can commit to making option 3 the best building it can be for the Fox Hill neighborhood and the district as a whole.
The new school is expected to cost about $102 million, according to estimates from the town, with the district paying about $77 million and the average impact to the taxpayer of about $253 per year for the life of the 20-year loan. In coming meetings, the committee will focus where on the Fox Hill site to place the new school, whether it should be 2 or 3 stories, and what kinds of sustainability measures should be pursued. The committee will likely submit this information to the Mass School Building Authority in December. Superintendent Eric Conti was in the BCAT studio this week for his monthly update. He touched on the Fox Hill decision made this week, but he also said this back-to-school season has felt like the first that's truly back to pre-COVID routines.
We're really treating COVID now like we would any other viral issue. So if students have a fever or any other viral infection, that they would need to be kept home, and they need to be, I think, 48 hours fever-free without taking any sort of Tylenol or anything like that. And that's really how we are monitoring that. I think there are some masking recommendations that families need to monitor, but it's really gone from a school-managed illness to a family-managed illness.
The full interview is available on our website, bcattv.org. The Burlington Board of Health is working with legal counsel over a potential violation of state ethics laws. At issue is an open supervisory nurse position, which has been open for more than a year. Applications were closed for a time before being reposted after Labor Day. In the new round of applications, the daughter of Board of Health member Marybeth Welch was among the applicants. Until last Tuesday, Welch served on the hiring committee for that role. Under Chapter 268A, the state conflict of interest law, board members must recuse themselves fully from all aspects of the hiring process and may not engage in any conversation about the hiring process, have input into the interview questions, review resumes, or discuss the matter with anyone in town government. Welch left the room during a September 26th meeting about the issue and is no longer on the hiring committee. Dr. Ed Weiner, the chair of the Board of Health, highlighted the gravity of the matter.
I'm trying to protect you, the board, us town, I'm trying to protect this person who already has violated, as you said.
Any discussion would be inappropriate.
Yeah. Already violated to the 10th degree. On multiple occasions. I'm trying to protect everyone here.
Violating the conflict of interest law could incur a fine of up to $10,000 per violation, according to the Mass Ethics Commission. BNEWS has reached out to Welch for comment, and she has not responded at this time. Welch's daughter has not been hired at this time, nor has she been interviewed. In September 26th meeting, Weiner attempted to pass a rule blocking the board from considering applications from immediate family members of board members, but the effort was unsuccessful. The board has created a new search committee with Board of Health members Andrea Sheehan and Gail DeMore as members. If Welch's daughter is the preferred candidate, the board may revisit the conflict of interest matter. The Select Board this week finalized a new alcohol policy that's part of an ongoing effort to modernize various laws. The new rules expressly prohibit restaurants from offering bring-your-own beer service and keeps a limit on the sale of alcohol to 6 p.m. on Sunday. Burlington's new Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Lisa Chen, has been making her mark in the school district already, and now she's making her mark at BCAT with a new TV series she's calling Journey to CARES Update. CARES is the acronym she's given her work in the district. It stands for Cultivate a Caring Community, Accept Others for Who They Are, Respect All Human Differences, Build Excellence in All, and Strive for Student Success Every Day. Here is Dr. Chen.
For you other parents, just so that you guys are aware, I know that Ms. Sacco, at some point in time, she's going to be reaching out to all of you in the very near future. You will be receiving a letter, especially for kindergarten parents, about how your child did on the DIBELS report or the DIBELS assessment, and you'll learn a little bit more about this in this letter. But please don't be alarmed if you do see some red and yellows. That's number one. And then number two, I know that Ms. Sacco, in working with the elementary principals, will be offering a literacy night in which she'll be explaining a little bit more about what the reading program consists of, especially at the elementary level, and how parents or caregivers can assist in the process of helping to ensure that reading is beyond the classroom and there is a love for reading.
The full interview is available on bcattv.org. Medication and medical sharp Takeback containers are no longer available at the Burlington Police Station. Unused or expired medication can still be brought to CVS, Shaw's, Osco Pharmacy, or Leahy Hospital and Medical Center. Sharps can be deposited at the Burlington Board of Health, the Burlington Fire Department, and at Leahy. Diwali, the Indian Festival of Lights, took place this past weekend on the town common. BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles was there and brings us this story.
The group Indian Americans for Burlington held its 9th annual Diwali festival on the town common recently on a beautiful fall day.
Today we are celebrating Diwali. This is like a celebration, like I know most of you guys know about it. It's like a beautiful celebration, very colorful. It's enlightening basically, all our energies, good omen, and we welcome goddess of wealth. Not only that, many things are there which we like, it's absolutely, a good omen. That's what we can say. Our theme is Passage to India, which means we are showing up the Indian culture, architecture, and the monuments of India. So we have cultural dances, we have kids entrepreneurs, we have kids carnival games, and a lot of vendor shopping here. And we have a yummy food from Treasury Kitchen.
Joy of Treats is a certified licensed kitchen based in Manchester, and I offer traditional Indian sweets, no added sugar sweets, then fusion sweets and savory treats also.
We have Ronaldo here. We have a turtle. That's Minions. We have Minions. We have the Prime Minister, Mahatma Gandhi, Spider-Man.
Basically, I'm just trying to represent my culture through these games and to help kids have fun.
IAB President Deepa Agrawal says next year will be even bigger.
Guess what? Next year we are doing the 10th anniversary of IAB. Yeah, we are bringing lots of new fun, new colors, and you'll get to see much more next year.
For BNEWS Weekly, I'm Sydney Bowles.
If you have ever been flummoxed about how to handle batteries, paints, or other potentially hazardous materials, the Burlington Board of Health has you covered. BNEWS reporter John Vias has more.
Another year, another round of local residents disposing of used hazardous household materials in an environmentally friendly way. The Burlington Board of Health had their biannual Hazardous Household Waste Day at Fox Hill Elementary School on Saturday, September 23rd.
So we collect both hazardous chemicals, things like cleaning solutions and paints and thinners and that type of thing. And we also take mercury-containing products, which would be things like thermostats or fluorescent light bulbs and batteries, and that keeps all that hazardous material out of the waste stream and out of landfills and incinerators where it shouldn't go, and it goes to the proper disposal facilities. So it's a really good positive impact for the environment.
On Household Hazardous Waste Day, the Board of Health collaborates with the Department of Public Works and Trade B Environmental Services.
We work in conjunction with the DPW, which helps us out to collection of mercury and collection of light bulbs. We work with an outside vendor for the collection of batteries. And then we hire a specialty company which collects all of the hazardous materials that are liquids, gasoline, oil, paints, all of these things which dispose of them appropriately.
There are a variety of ways hazardous materials are handled when they're dropped off to the Board of Health.
We have to dispose of this material appropriately, and that's why we have an outside vendor that goes through this, all the materials. Some of it is recycled, some of it is not recycled, some of it is burnt. But clearly, it's out of our Burlington environment. Noxious materials, dangerous materials, things that we don't want here in town.
From the parking lot at Fox Hill Elementary School, this is John Vias for B News.
It's that time of year again, time to schedule your flu shot, that is. If you're looking for an accessible option, the Board of Health has you covered there too. On Saturday, October 14th, residents can get a free flu shot at Grandview Farms from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Registration is required. Visit burlington.org/843/flu-clinic for more. We'll leave that up on the screen just for a second so you can pause and jot that down. Okay, Twist Bakery Cafe in Burlington's 3rd Avenue area has been nominated for USA Today's list of top 10 gluten-free bakeries in the United States, and you can help them earn the top spot. Sydney Bowles has more.
Twist has been nominated for USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Award.
USA Today 10 Best does an award program that they offer, and they've gone through with a select committee, gone through all of the gluten-free places in the country, and we were selected as one of the top 20 in the country, and now we're vying for to be the top.
Twist won the title of top gluten-free bakery in the country in 2018, when it had only one location in Millis. Now, the title could include its Burlington location, which opened in 2019.
We were open 9 months before COVID decided to close us down for a little bit. And then, we've been regrouping since then. So it's been a lot of fun, to say the least, and a little bit of a challenge. But, here we are, still really proud of it. This is a seasonally changing menu, but currently we do have these beautiful apple cider donut muffins. We have classic blueberry muffins, things like that. One of the things we also redeveloped this year was our chocolate chip cookie, and we're super proud of it. It's a good chunky cookie, and it actually surprisingly doesn't have even eggs in it. It's such a great thing. So for our vegan or egg-free people, this is a cookie that we're proud to put out as our one and done chocolate chip cookie.
Twist is the only bakery in New England on the USA Today list.
It's humbling, actually, to be honest with you, because we work so hard, and our team works so hard every single day, and to be recognized like that on a national level is rewarding, because you're working so hard, you realize that other people are looking at it too. So it's nice to see.
Voting is open till October 16th. From Twist Bakery Cafe, I'm Sydney Bowles.
The Burlington Police Department is set to host a session on October 20 on protecting houses of worship. The training is for anyone who works or volunteers at any house of worship. The class will include information about reporting suspicious activity, de-escalation, emergency procedures, and responding to active threats. Registration is first come, first served. Contact Lieutenant Glenn Mills at gamills@bpd.org for more information. Have you ever wondered how early colonial residents in the Burlington area would have built their homes? BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak spoke with someone who knows the answer.
Peter Coppola of the Burlington Historical Society recently gave a presentation on building and construction practices in American colonial times and hopes to share this knowledge with Burlington students.
Right now, I'm working on making a tree nail. Some people would say to you, why is that guy wasting his time working with old hand tools and something that doesn't need to be used anymore? And I would argue that it's critically important that we understand how to use these tools. I was watching a documentary on the restoration of the Notre Dame Cathedral. And one of the architects that was interviewed said that in the process of taking apart all of the burnt wood that was in the cathedral, they discovered all of these nails and joints that could only be made with these hand tools that were used hundreds and thousands of years ago. And that's the only way they can duplicate the restoration and the rebuilding of the roof and the steeple at the cathedral. So I think it's very important. It's very important that we know a lot of things. How do they make this mortise and tenon joint using only a chisel and an auger? Using this tool in the 16 and 1700s, boring a hole 4 inches deep would take 8 minutes versus late 1700s, early 1800s, a brace would do the same thing in 1 minute. And that brings us back to the tree nail. They used a draw knife. Now, I don't expect to get a phone call from Paris to come out and work on the restoration of the Notre Dame Cathedral, but I think I could take these out to the classroom and show students how they did it.
From the workshop of Peter Coppola, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Anthony Matos is here for the latest Burlington High School sports news. Here he is.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos in this weekly sports report. Red Devil football competed at home with Wakefield Memorial on September 29th. BCAT volunteer Bill Hayes brings you these highlights.
The Burlington Red Devils had their biggest game of the season on a wet and wild Friday night at Varsity Field against the Wakefield Warriors. Senior captain and running back Joey Poland set up the Devils with a score from the 2-yard line in a Wildcat formation. 6-0 Devils. The 2-point conversion failed. The score remained the same until the second quarter when sophomore Ryan Brooks scored on an 85-yard touchdown to make the score 12-0. The 2-point conversion was successful as J.T. Doherty ran it in for the score. At halftime, it was 14-0. With 6:25 remaining in the third quarter, Poland scored again on an 80-yard touchdown run, making the score 21-0 after the extra point. Both teams had trouble handling the ball in the wet weather. 21-0 was the final score after a scoreless fourth quarter. The Devils traveled to Wilmington on October 6th to face the Wildcats. Both teams are 3-1, so it should be a great game.
The Junior Devils football team are competing with the Reading Rockets on October 4th at MSMS. Updating this game next week. Lady Devils field hockey are 2-7 after 2 losses to Wilmington on the 28th, 2-1, and Arlington on the 2nd, 2-0. As is taping, the game against Belmont is still to be played. We'll have an update next week. Red Devil Golf had 2 matches on October 2nd and 3rd. Stoneham was the opponent on the 2nd where they lost by 4, 38-34. Burlington had a one-sided loss of 56-16 against Winchester on the 3rd. The team will be at Lexington Golf Club on October 4th, and we'll have updates next week. Lady Devils Volleyball had another loss in their column after a 3-2 defeat with Wakefield on the 28th. They shut out Wilmington 3-0 on October 2nd. The Czerwinski Gym in Arlington is the team's next opponent on October 4th. We'll have updates next week. Boys soccer are now 0-9 after 2 losses to Methuen 2-1. Junior Nick Abbott scored the first point on offense this season. Burlington was shut out 2-0 in Wilmington on October 3rd. The girls soccer team had a big win over Wakefield on the 29th. Juniors Lacey Lauder and Kim Ochoa each scored 1 goal. Senior Shay McDonald and Morgan Ryan each scored a goal, and senior Shark Collins scored 2. Burlington tied with Wilmington on the 5th with a goal by Ochoa. Pierce Turf at Arlington is next on October 5th. We'll have an update next week. Both cross-country teams competed on October 3rd in Wilmington. The girls lost by a score of 77-28, while the boys won 24-32. The girls are 0-3 and the boys are 2-2. Both teams have a break as they return on October 17th in Watertown. On September 30th, the boys competed at the MSTCA Frank Kelly Invitational. In the 5,000 meters boys 5K championship, the team finished in 15th place with a score of 432. In the 3,000 meters small schools freshman and sophomore boys 5K, the doubles finished in 27th place with a score of 675. For a list of results, go to the following website, athletic.net. The combined Woburn and Burlington swim team had a meet in Lexington on September 29th. The Minutemen won by a score of 93-72. The 400 free relay team of Riley McCarthy, Sarah Herbst, Ava Eldridge, and Kaylee McCarthy qualified for states with a time of 4 minutes and 12 seconds. For more Red Devil action, go to btv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Looks like more rain is in the forecast. Let's turn to Peter Brown for the forecast and stay tuned for the community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards the first full weekend of October. I know it's starting on our period on Friday. We should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the upper 60s. Again, we're still going to be a little bit warmer than average to start out our weekend. Temperatures around 70, so pleasant out there. Getting a little bit more humid as we're going to have to be watching a storm system approaching us from the southeast, so keep that in mind. As we get towards the end of the period, towards the end of next week, we should be seeing temperatures in the mid-60s again at this time of the year for October, and that's about where we're going to end up. So let's go ahead, let's look at those 7 days of weather coming up, and again, starting on our period on Friday on this weekend. Long weekend for many of you, I hope. We're going to be having, looks like, not the nicest weekend coming up here. Looks like it's going to be showery and rainy, especially on Saturday. Temperatures cooling off each day down into the mid-60s by the time we get into Sunday. And again, remember this weekend, we're going to be keeping an eye on that post-maybe tropical system Philippe that's been spinning around in the Atlantic for the past 2 weeks or so. Going to have to see how close it gets to us, and that's going to determine how much windy and rainy, showery conditions we get. So just bear that in mind. It looks like it's going to be a soggy weekend out there. Now, as we get into Monday, that chance of showers lingers as some really cool air comes in on the backside of that storm to our east. Temperatures only getting into the mid-50s on Monday, and that trend is pretty much going to continue as we get in towards Thursday. Again, temperatures rebounding a little bit up into the lower to mid-60s by then, but definitely chillier than average and having a real fall feel as we get in towards next work week. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, and welcome to the Burlington Brief. I'm your host, Sydney Bowles.
And I'm your other host, Sarah Eshelman. We're here to bring you a no-nonsense,
maybe a little nonsense,
guide to what's happening in Burlington, from major capital projects to schools to business and society.
Tune in every week for fresh interviews with people at the center of local news and conversations between two journalists who know what's up. So subscribe to the Burlington Brief to make sure you don't miss a single thing and get the best of local news delivered right to your ears.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On October 13th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., the Made in Burlington store will be having a pumpkin door hanger and scarecrow weaving class. For more information and to register, go to the following website. On October 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having Trucktober on the Town Common. The Power Wheel Derby will be on this day as well for children ages 2 through 8. Pre-registration is required for the Derby. On October 15th, from 2 to 4 p.m., the Burlington Girl Scouts are having Trunk or Treat at the BHS faculty parking lot. All are welcome to wear your costumes and trick or treat from trunk to trunk. Don't forget to bring a donation for the Burlington Food Pantry. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
As we do every week, we like to wrap up with a photo from a member of the community. This week's was sent in by John Wyman of the Francis Wyman Association, and it's part of an effort they recently completed to repair a well sweep at the historic home. We'll have that story for you next week. If you have a photo you'd like to send in, you can email it to us at bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk this week. We're going to leave you with some photos with of coffee with a cop, done by Christina Nikitas. Thank you for joining us.